This is not a drill. This is not a drill. This is a drill.
Hello, 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 hello. Check. Check, check, check. This is Julian. All right, everybody. Welcome to this month's Fix Your Project stream. Let me know in the chat if you hear me all right. I hope you guys are having a good week. Today we are going to be fixing the projects you guys submitted over on Patreon. If you want to submit for next month's stream, go ahead and check out the link in the description of this video, or check out patreon.com/JulianGray. Essentially, you can send me any project file you have and I'll fix it to the best of my abilities or to what I think needs to be repaired and get it back to you. And then you can release a song and say, Julian ruined my project file. Awesome. So we're about to get started here. I have about 5 or 6 projects for this stream today. Not sure that I'll get through all of them. I only have about an hour and 40 minutes today, but we'll try our best. And yeah, let's get this thing started. All right, so we are now in Ableton Live here. As you can see the chat, and we're gonna get things started. I'm going to open Live 10 first, and we're going to try to open all these in Live 10 before 11 because if you guys are in Live 11, or I'm sorry, if you are in Live 10 and not 11, it will be a pain to open the project file in 11 and you have you not be able to open it yourself. So we are going to address that right now. Okay, cool. And the first project is, let's pick one. We have a list here. Which one should we do, guys? Doesn't really matter too much. I think Valhalla was the first one submitted, if I remember correctly, so we'll go with that one first. All right, this is Fresco Baldi Valhalla. Let's go ahead and open this in Live 10. If it doesn't open, then we know it's a Live 11 project file. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the stream. Am I a little bit quiet? I will turn up my mic a little bit just for you, Tidris. How's that? All right, so we're missing some plugins out of the gate. Should be fine though. I'm just gonna give this thing a quick listen, and we're gonna do some work on it. Fresco always has some really interesting music. I said that just as Tidris did. Yeah, we should be good to listen. Let me confirm that you guys can hear that. You can't. No, you can't. Now you can. No, you can't. Now you can. Cool. Always has that awesome ambience to Fresco's stuff. This seems like a more demo version, because his stuff is usually really finished out when he sends it. Essity, what's up? Wrote this on a Windows machine. Hopefully it works out okay. Yeah, never have any issues with that. A lot of the producers that submit stuff are on Windows. As long as you don't use like anything that's Windows only, plugin wise. Honestly, dude, like, you have such an iconic sound to your music. You just got to start releasing stuff. This reminds me of, I think his name is C14. Maybe that's not what it is, but the guy who does Minecraft gives me that kind of feeling. It also sounds a little bit like Tycho. It's like your use of these like really raw square waves, and it's beautiful. Really enjoy it. You could probably get these placed in a game. C418, got it. Yeah, this is like straight up Minecraft music. In a great way. Minecraft is an incredible soundtrack. Honestly, this is one of those things where there's not much I would change as far as mixing or writing goes, because it's clear to me that you have this very obvious vision. Like it has a very intentional direction. Intentional. Wow, I just invented a word. What did I just say? Intentional? I meant to say intentional direction, and I don't want to change it. Sounds like game music, man. It's really good. I may be missing some of your like effects plugins. Doesn't seem like it. So yeah, actually, Fresco, it's funny you should say that, because I was gonna say the one thing I can adjust is maybe your mastering, just to bring the whole song up to a higher level. It seems a bit quiet right now. If you don't already have it, you should pick up Luff Meter by Loudness Meter by Julian, I believe. Loudness Meter. Well, my VST version of it apparently doesn't work. Here's the AU version, but it's a free plugin, and it lets you see like your volume over time in LUFS, which is like the new industry standard for volume. So, or loudness, I guess. So you're sitting here around like negative 15, 14. I think you could definitely push this a little bit more. You have like maybe 3 to 5 decibels of gain you could probably get out of this. So let's see. You have Ozone 8 elements. Let's see if we can push your limiter just a little bit more so we can get a little bit more volume here. So So you can see, like, in your limiter, you're not really even touching your threshold. It's all kind of flat. So, at the very least, I think you could probably, just pull your threshold down so it's where it's, giving it a little bit of, it's basically barely touching your limiter peak, and you're really, that's like 3 or 4 decibels louder just there, and we aren't really hearing any sort of artifact at all. We're already like at +3 from where we were. We can try a little bit more. See, it's like, it doesn't sound any worse. It just sounds fatter to me. Like, it's a bit scared of inner sample peaking. I've heard Steve Duda talk about that, but I'm not super familiar with the concept. If you'd like to explain it, that would be awesome. Yeah, so we're a little bit on the louder side now. It feels better to me. There's probably a few things in here we could compress a bit more, like your pianos or whatever. But the thing is, like, this track has a very dynamic sound to it. Like that C418 guy, his music is very, like, uncompressed and very dynamic. Oh, Tiders can take that one. Let's see what he has to say. And I don't want to push it towards, like, super compressed, highly mastered music, because I feel as though this, as it is, sounds a lot like the music you hear in Minecraft or what have you. True peak limiting, let's see. Honestly, don't know where that is. I've heard of the concept of inner sample peaking before, but I'm not qualified to talk about it because I'm not overly familiar with it. Yeah, I think the main thing is just pushing the volume a bit more. Like we've already dropped this, threshold at least like -5, and you still, like, if you really wanted to push this song, you could probably keep going with this and get it really loud, because it's so dynamic and it doesn't really have any, like, huge contrast in your mix. Like, there's no, like, big kicks that are really much louder than everything else. Everything is kind of balanced in your mix down. Like, if you look, you have, like, one kind of flat response here in your master volume. There's no, like, kicks that are hitting up here, so you have a lot of play as far as, like, how far you can push your limiter. I mean, you could go, like, pretty far. Depends on how much you want to get into that, like, compressed sound. But I think as it stands, like, at, like, this -9.5 or whatever, this sounds really good. There's not too much I would change about it. If you're going for that C418, it sounds a lot like it. Like, you've nailed it. I don't want to push it too far away from that. Okay, so Tiger says the basic idea is that the signal could go above 0 between points when the compute is taking samples. I think you just have a few misspellings in here and it's tripping me out. When the computer is taking samples, causing you to go above 0. If you oversample, though, you can catch most of, not all of these. Oh, so it's like in between, like, frames of samples that the computer is processing. Interesting. I would like to see somebody break that down, like, a little bit more. But I think I understand the idea, because computers or digital audio in general works in samples, and essentially you have a frame rate, which is like your kilobit speed, So I guess like if your CPU can't keep up with the speed of your, I guess your refresh rate of your sampling, you end up with some inaccuracies, and then you get what it sounds like is you're getting multiple samples at the same time, or like one lingering into the next, where you end up with some sort of volume above what you would normally get if the computer was running at perfect efficiency. I'm not going to pretend to know all about it, but it's very interesting. Yeah, I honestly, man, this is really solid as is. Even like your choice of reverb that you've used is so like in line with that type of music. I would say every week you impress me, or every month you impress me with these. They're always like so suited to games. I remember you had like a Hotline Miami kind of track a few months ago. I just think you need to start pitching to game developers and sync, or maybe even get your music in like a game licensing library, because these are already really solid as is. I think that's the next step for you. Let me take a look really quick, and then I'll move on to the next one, at your like overall spectrum. See if there's any like weird things you're missing. It sounds really full to me. Sounds good. So you have a little bit of a outlier here at like this 3-octave range, but I don't think it's a problem. Like, it sounds fine to me, and what matters more than anything is how it sounds. It feels really full and feels really warm and fuzzy, and it's kind of like what those producers that you're emulating are going for. So I think you've nailed it, man. I don't have too much to fix on this one. I think it's properly fixed already. So I'm not gonna ruin it. I could properly ruin it if you want me to, but I think that all it really needs is a little bit of volume, maybe some arrangement stuff to make it longer than 2 minutes, but it's perfect for games, and you've nailed this sound to a T. All right, so that's Frescobaldi Valhalla. Everybody give him a hand clap in the chat, because that's what we do. We support our fellow musicians. You give them a hand clap like that. Yeah, really, really solid tune, man. I'm sorry I couldn't change more of it, but I think it's fine as is, and I'd rather tell you that than to try to fix something that doesn't need it. All right, Project 43. Let's see what this is about. Expanding like the universe. Essity. Clap, 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 clap. We can dab on them. I'm kind of upset that they have a dab emoji now. Like, where have we devolved to as a humankind? Very interesting. All right, we are opening. Okay, so this one is a live 11. Let me see if any of these other ones are live 10 first. We'll just go through the 10 ones first, and we'll move on. Might as well just expand all these while we're here, right? Takes a second. We still have an hour and a half. We're just getting started. Today, we're just getting started. Gonna do them all. Why not? My name Jeff. Is this like Chinese food? That's cool. This is nostalgic. Okay. I think that's all of them. Yeah. Cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start a new folder for the finished ones, as usual. Frescobaldi. Cool name too. Oh, why did I name it that? Finished. I can't type. Cool. There it is. All right. Eldon Horizon. I think that this one's actually Ableton 11. I'm going to assume it is because he's a student of mine. We'll move on to the next one. Sorry, you guys got bad Wi-Fi. All right, this is Dustin Rosada Lightning. And it's also an Ableton Live 10. I don't have half of your plugins, but we'll see how it goes. All right. Bit quiet. First thing I'm going to do is put a limiter on here just so you can hear it better. It sounds like an EDM song, so I use Pro L. Been using Pro L a lot lately. Kind of bounce between Pro L and Elevate. I'm just gonna push this up so we have a little bit more gain. Maybe a little bit of cut. Instantly better. That's cool, man. Whoa. That is really awesome. Dude, this might be one of the most unique submissions I've ever got. That's so sick. This simultaneously has some like Mr. Probs, like the wave or waves vibes, while also conveying like, what else does this sound like? Like Calvin Harris. That's so nice, man. Especially when those strings come in. Whew, that's nice. Gives me like Summer by Calvin Harris. So Dustin, you're in the chat. What is the inspiration behind this, and then also like what kind of sound are you going for? What I'm hearing is like definitely a big hat and making it more like housey, going towards like the deep house lane, like Mr. Probs or like Calvin or whatever. But I don't know if you're trying to stick to like more progressive. That bass is nice. So what I'm gonna do is, I see that these are different. I'm just gonna color these a different color so we can know immediately like what we're dealing with. Definitely does have Breath of the Wild vibes. I just do this so that we can see like when everything's collapsed what everything is. That string pluck is a bit jarring. I think it's not playing the root note or like a fifth, and it's kind of unexpected. There's that house hat I was talking about. So I think my one critique here, and I don't know if this is because you're doing this for a video game or what have you, the arrangement kind of feels all over the place. Like there's a lot of different sections. Like this feels like a drop to me. This also feels like a drop to me. Like this feels like a drop, obviously. You know? Also has like Nora and Pure vibes too. So the song has a lot of like development over the song, but it doesn't really have like an anchor to it. It feels like it's constantly changing into a new thing where it doesn't have like a home to return to. It always kind of goes from one thing to the next. I would say one of the main things I would adjust is arrangement, but I don't know if you're doing this for a reason and you're trying to make it develop over time because of the game. Like, if it's for like a cutscene or something, I don't want to fuck with your arrangement. But if it's like, if the arrangement is malleable, I can adjust it. I think that this is one of the coolest melodies I've heard in like years. Honestly, that's so good. All right, so you said no, so I'm just gonna mess with the arrangement a bit here. So I'm gonna do what I usually do. I'm gonna create a MIDI track. So we can identify what the length of each section is, so then we can figure out what's going on and why it feels weird. So this is like an intro, obviously. Oops. Still intro. I would say it's like a verse here. Maybe actually, what's the difference here between this and... Alright, that's when the bass comes in. Maybe that's like our verse, actually. Yeah, let's keep it as it was. Like your main motif right there. That's like the main melody. Maybe this is like a pre-chorus, actually. I'd call this like a chorus, I guess. Maybe not. Maybe this is the chorus. Okay, let's call that a chorus. It's also kind of a chorus there. It's also a verse. That bass is nice, man. Maybe a pre-chorus, actually? Because it's this again? Yeah, I don't like that. I'm full disclosure, I don't like that that stab. It's kind of weird. I think the whole song could do without it. these could just probably be muted, in my opinion. Okay, this is a weird arrangement. I think we can make this better. What I'm gonna do first though is copy all this over. Is this stuff I can delete? Because I'm just gonna delete it and then start it again. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Because this doesn't seem to be used anyway. Like, let me just ideas. You know what? I'll just keep it all. I'll just do this. Disable this, grab everything, copy, bring it over here, paste. So we have the Julian version now, right here. Just for the sake of keeping it clean, let's add like, 16 bars. Maybe another one. Cool. You know what? I'll add like a full 64. Cool. Now we're pretty far out. All right. So I don't want to linger on this too long, but I think what I would say is try to consolidate your choruses into like one key idea, because you have a lot of different cool ideas, but there's too many of them. So like this is cool. It's maybe like a verse or something, but not as a chorus. That's really smooth right there with the whatever it is, your strings over it, right? But I think that when you bring in that bass, that's when it really comes together as a chorus. So maybe we can try that bass in the first pre-chorus into the chorus, and yeah, let's give that a go first. So on your bass channel, you have these two separate ideas. I'm just going to color this different too. Let's go ahead and try this. So when it hits that pre-chorus, I'm going to go into the movie bass, this one. The one that moves a lot. You know what? Okay, rather than that, let's keep it as it was, but then go to no bass for a second. And then when that string comes in, then we can bring in the bass. I think that would be more satisfying. Let's try this. Yeah, and that's where it should really kick in, I think. So let's bring that funky bass in here. So we're trying to solidify all these into like one key idea, I think, rather than having like so many separate chorus ideas. What is this guy? Yeah, it's like your house drums. So I'm going to bring those in for the second half of this first drop. I think it's right here. Yeah. Linger it through. Just trying to consolidate. You have a lot of cool ideas. They're just too spread out, I think. Let's play this. feels like so much better going into that full change, I think. And then when you bring in that melody again, we bring in the hi-hat, so it's like... This might be a bit too long, too, for a chorus. So then for this part, then we can go to the flat one again here. Like that. Maybe we cut the bass out for this last part. We bring those drums back into like at full force when it comes back around. Just trying to go for a more like traditional house layout. Like, and maybe we can bring that, which is I think this one, right? That's the stabs. I love this. It gives you the vibe of like if you know the song "Music Sounds Better with You," feels like that to me. So maybe we can grab this and put this in like our build up actually. So like we're building into that chorus, and then when it hits the chorus, then we can bring in this part. Obviously they don't have your thing, so it's gonna be like a pretty jarring automation there, but whatever. So let's hear this in the mix. Loud. I know there's like a there was that cool like pad too. Is this it? Man, that feels like a Nora En Pure song. That's fire. Should try this for Purified. I think they would sign it. Yeah, that is nice. You on the flute? Maybe no kick here and then like bring it back. Yeah, I think that's really insinuating a drop here again, like another chorus, but already at like a pretty long song here. Yeah, man. I think the main thing with this guy is just yeah, I totally fucking do that. I don't know what tempo the original is, but this would be so funny. Let's see. No. Oh well, doesn't work. I don't feel like dealing with it anyway. That'd be funny though. All right. Oh my god, I have to get this to work. Hold on. It's such a good... This is for the memes. I think that's it right there, right? Okay, never mind. Could be cool though. He says he has vocals in here already. I'll enable him really quick and we'll give him a quick listen, but I don't think I'm gonna do too much work on that. I think that we've fixed up the arrangement a lot, and there's a lot more like motion and energy now. It feels good. But I would say, you know, just keep on that path and try to get the arrangement working out.
Finding my new self, shedding my old self. Forward,
That's kind of cool though.
never backward, only moving forward. Finding myself, shedding my old self.
I think if you use it, you got to do some tuning on it. But if you did like, you know, just a minimal amount of, let's say, compressing. Sometimes I get cat hair in my mouse and it's always a disaster. All right. Something like this, I think just like a pretty high favoring curve and a compressor and maybe like a small amount of reverb. Let me save this first because Valhalla's been crashing my DAW. Like something like this.
Forward, never backward, only moving forward. Finding a way, trusting myself.
Yeah, I think it would be best to actually try to songwrite something for this because this feels very ad-libbed. There might be some cool stuff in here that you can write off of, but yeah, I think this is such a solid song. You don't want to have a loose vocal production on it. Like, it deserves like a really well done top line. So I'm gonna listen to this right now, and then or listen to this pre-chorus and the chorus, and then we'll move on to the next one because I don't have too much time left. It's such a banger. Like, this is a good tune. know if you guys are fans of Nora and Pure. This sounds like Nora and Pure from like 2014. So good. That song, it's like Morning Dew or something by Nora. And then that second pre-chorus into the drop. Just consolidating a lot of your cool ideas into like one key drop makes it so much stronger, I think. Slowly drifting away, wave after wave after wave. And that little synth you have here is so like Years and Years, if you know the band. Like, look up King by Years and Years. That would be a really good reference for this too. Anyway, I don't want to linger on this for too long because I love this track. I could probably work on it for a while longer, but I'm not going to because we have other stuff to check out. So that's Dustin Rosa, Lightning FF. Don't know if that's like the final title, but that's what it's called here. Round of applause for him in the chat. Let's give him some dabs. Maybe like some elbows. Yeah, fuck yeah. Okay, cool. Azuria. Let's do this one. Dear Sunshine by Azuria. That's a big tune, man. Love that one. You should absolutely send this to Purified. Get the arrangement right and send it off to Purified. I think they would totally sign that. I love that Essity is just typing out what we're doing. That's hilarious. Okay, I don't have Black Hole. Let me grab Dustin's and put it in the finished folder. I'm not sure we'll have time to get through all of these, but let me get through at least as many as I can. We will try to work quickly through these next few. All right, here is Dear Sunshine remix by Azuria Sky, and it's Guard Data remix. I'm not hearing anything. Is that just really quiet? Oh, it's like straight up bass here in the start. Okay. I was like, why is nothing playing? It's like sub only. Careful there. You don't want your listeners to think that it's silent because it's just bass. So I like the idea so far. It's very dramatic, but I think that you gotta work on the arrangement on this guy too. Like it needs to not go from an intro build into another breakdown, especially a breakdown as quiet as this, because it's kind of I don't want to say boring, but like distracting to a listener. Like they wouldn't be interested this long, I don't think, unless they hear a drop at like a minute in. Quiet too. push the maximizer a bit more like the other one we did. I would say, just let me pause really quick. I would say if you're gonna do a build like this guy, use this, like elements from this overlaying into this, because this is also a build up. It's very tense and nice, like we've established. Like, you could probably use some of these features here to make this feel more interesting as a build up. Right now this is kind of dragging. I don't know how long this is, but I think it's like 2 minutes from here to here. Yeah, minute and a half. Cool melody there. The whole thing just feels kind of empty. Yeah, man, this is a really, like, there's a lot of really cool ideas. It's similar to the last one in that there's a lot of cool ideas, but no, like, structure. So let's go ahead and try, like what I was saying, first and foremost, we're going to try to consolidate the intro into the build up a bit here, so you don't have to, like I think that might be actually like 5 minutes of build up. And it takes that long to get to any sort of drum. And then this drop here isn't really all that satisfying. And then it takes another further few minutes to get to this second drop, which is, I think, where the apex of the song is right now. So, first of all, I'm going to lose all of this extra space you have at the front. This is like just kind of taking up space, so I'm going to do that. So you can see the actual length of the song here. So this is a minute already just to get to this point, which is your first like breakdown. So I'm thinking maybe we can consolidate these two ideas a bit here. So let's try to grab maybe these guys and put them here, and then maybe start it here. So like, let's go ahead and grab our looped pad so we can cut a full minute off of this thing. I'm hardly hearing anything for most of this stuff. These are like mostly non-existent. But what I'll do is I'll just grab all this stuff and shift it to here, so it like at least leads into where we're going. Okay, so you obviously want this to be like your main, like that. guys too. I don't know if these are too different. Copy the movement of this one maybe and keep the MIDI of the next one, something like that, so we can make it a bit more interesting, and also so it follows the same like pattern, I guess. Grab this, copy it here. Let's just get rid of all this stuff. So we're trying to shorten this down and consolidate the intro into one big piece rather than having an intro into another intro. This is not even used. And then this stuff here is like build up stuff, so I'm just gonna expand it and we'll grab all this and put it here. Let's see how this sounds. So, it's definitely not perfect. That way we have at least like a pretty big reveal there. There's a lot of weird musical stuff going on here too, like the song isn't resolving to a 1. Like the 1 of this scale is here. And then like the 1 should be here and not here. So it's very interesting, but I think we could make this work. I'm just gonna copy that F over so that we have the 1 to resolve around 2. That way it doesn't feel as jarring. Because right now it's a bit jarring going back to that whatever note that was at the start there. And these guys are gonna do the same thing, right? So like, I don't know if these are even need to move. Yeah, this needs to go to an F. Because the phrase isn't a full bar. Like as you can see, this repetition is like 3 bars long and then, or 3 beats long and then, yeah, 3 bars long, not 4, sorry. And then it repeats again at 3 bars, and then 3 bars later, then it cycles back around, and it never actually does a full 8-bar sequence. It's very interesting. So if I were you, I would try to consolidate this more into like a 4-bar rhythm, but I don't know, maybe you're going for something more interesting and artsy, so I don't want to change it too much. bring this kick in early or something too. So. Rather than moving so much, we can make this chord just hold. This guy right here, I think, would be better. So let's just do this. So that it builds a little bit of tension rather than moving all around. Like dun, 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 dun. And then it goes dun, dun, and then it goes reverts back around when we get there. Cool, and then to make this drop actually feel like a drop, I'm gonna copy the drop you used from the original, the second drop. And we're gonna make this the root note, like the rest of it, and just copy it here. I think that'll make this much stronger. And then, because we put that kick before the drop, now we can make the kick open up on the drop, and it will make this feel much bigger. So I'm gonna turn off your filter as we hit the drop. I don't know what's going on with these kicks, but something's weird. Okay, so that's too loud. That means everything is probably too loud. I'm just going to turn everything down. Like literally everything, except for the kick. Like a lot. So this feels like too similar to the previous section, so let's just try to nix some of these ideas and make it a little bit drier, because your drop when it comes in needs to be a contrast from your previous section, and it feels so wet here. I want to just go into like a dry idea. Something lingering here. We're gonna hit that mute right at the end, so. Then it goes straight to a dry idea. Wherever that's gotta go too. And then maybe some of these things we can, like filter up too, so it doesn't feel as weird of a transition here. But I'm just going to do this, and then I think I'll call this a wrap on this one, because I don't want to linger on this one for too long. There's a lot of things to fix in this one. I think we made some awesome progress on it, but I think it still needs a lot of work, and I don't want to linger for too long. So we'll grab this and then paste it to, let's paste it to the melodies group actually. Then on the bass, we're just gonna filter this out up until that drop right here. Yeah, so much better. And then the riser filter on So it really gets rid of everything for a second. And then once we get to the drop, then it's revealed and all is good. Yeah. Notice you also have no side chain, and that's really throwing it off. So if we like take this bass and we side chain it to our kick, we'll get a nice little pump, and that's all it really needs. Yeah, so that made it better, I think. I'm not going to linger on this one for too much longer, but that is Guard Data remix of Dear Sunshine by Azuria Sky. Really cool ideas here. Just needs to be consolidated and, make it into into really solid sections. Colonel Fleek says, very Mr. Robot music. Just finished your start to finish 4-episode beginner Ableton tutorial. Thanks for watching, man. It's an older one. All right, guys, everybody give him a round of applause in the chat. This time, actual applause, because that's cool. I have another 30 minutes fixing projects here. We're going to try to get through what we can. Why am I like this? Let's try to open this one. So I think my favorite of the day so far has been Dustin's. That is such a cool deep house vibe. Let's see if this one is cool too. Missing some stuff. Also missing some samples, but let's try to play it anyway. Missing a lot of your mastering. I'm gonna put a like a Pro L or something on this. It's very quiet. I don't have like half of your plugins, so I don't know why this is disabled. I own that. Ooh, that was some rhythmic ambiguity in there. I didn't expect that rhythm. Okay. So one thing I will notice, or I did notice when you were automating your master gain, that's generally a big no-no. You generally want to do this kind of change in a utility before your limiter, just so that you're adjusting the signal before it hits the limiter, because for long story short, you want to be compressing your buildups less than your drops. And if you're sending it through a limiter, your buildup's going to be compressed just as much, if not more, than your drop. So this is redundant. You're just turning down the compressed signal. You want to turn down your pre-limiter gain. This is nice, man. I think I'm missing some stuff, so it's hard to hear like think in general the whole song needs a little high end. It feels very weighted towards the bottom. If we look at span really quick. Span is free, by the way. You have almost nothing above 3K. You're rolling off pretty heavy. It needs some sharpness. That was 3K and up, I think. All your low end and like your mids are really nice. How are we doing here? Yeah, still good. Yeah, some of these sound so like a lot of your sound design sounds like it's been low passed. You don't have any like crispness at all, and it's reflected here. This information is very important for like clarity. Really cool music though, man. So let's see. I'm gonna unfreeze this guy. What are we dealing with here? Yeah, so you never actually get the high end. I would say make an automation so you at least sometimes get some high end in there, because you're really lacking it in the song. It doesn't have this crispness, and that's where a lot of your presence is. And then also this roll off here is completely redundant. Same for that and the low end. No reason to do that. I think that's a huge widespread myth that people take literally. Also, your EQ should be before your limiter and compressor, so that should be first in the chain. See how much like better that sounds with all the high end in place? It's got all that crunch up top. So but obviously you can automate this, so starts less, and then as you get into build-ups, you really open it up. I think that would make this really cool. Just gonna do that. Why not? Maybe like halfway for the drop. And it's the same for your drums here too. Like your drums don't have any punch. Like I think it's fine for your kick because you're going for that more subdued feeling, but you don't have any like high end. You don't have like a hi-hat or like any sort of clap. The one you do have, I think, is the click of the click. And I can see you're doing like a aggressive cut on that. Okay, so I don't have that sample, so I can't even work on that. But just lose this cut. Like high end is so important to like every percussion. Like that's like where your clarity is. It's where your energy is. You just don't have it in your track at all. You're rolling off everything below like 3K or above like 3K, and it's really not great. Too. Yeah, this is like a pet peeve of mine. Like when I hear a really solid track, but like one big mistake is like tanking how the whole mix is sounding. And in your case, in this one, it's the lack of high end. So I don't know if I'm missing some of your plugins here, and it sounds better to me. It sounds better to me when it's dry. So this is how it sounds with the plugins on. This is how it sounds without them. I don't know what I'm missing, but it sounds better to me without whatever you have on here. Maybe it's like wider, maybe loudness or whatever. I don't know. But for some reason, it's just Doesn't have that sharpness. And then that also might be your serum too. So like there's never a point in this where you're getting all the way to the top. So you're never getting the crispness of like maybe like 5K and up. Like now you are. See how that blue line has to reach the top? That's where all that like cleanness of your mix is. Ooh, nice. Yeah, like now that we've opened that filter up, we get all of that energy. One last thing I'm going to add to this one before we move on here, I don't want to linger too long, is a hi-hat, because this is going to drive home the high-end thing as well. We can literally just grab any hi-hat here. Let's just do a closed hat. Yeah, something like that. It's a little bit sharper. I'm just going to put an EQ on it, give it a high boost just to really exaggerate this. And then in that second half of this drop, I'm just going to do a triplet. Yeah. Make it shorter too. Yeah, like here. Like that sharpness just carries right through. I'm thinking we might be able to do a little bit of motion on this too, like give a little bit of variance to the velocities a bit. And if you really want to get crazy, you can try a clap too. I think that would add a lot of energy to this. Something like this, like really small. That's too long, so I would just trim it a bit. Something like this, yeah. Turn it way down, just like. Ooh, definitely not the rhythm. I think it's like there, actually. What am I doing? Why is this not lining up? This is the obvious spot right here, right? Okay. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Much better. Let's just duplicate it. Only when the hi-hat comes in, so you have like this nice ringy hi-end now. You can even compress this based on your kick, I think. Maybe even crush itself, so like. gonna put a side chain on our clap, and then I'm just gonna, you know, I want it to have volume up front and then turn down over time. Little micro clap. And like I said, you know, make sure this macro is really going to the top. That main lead could use for like a little bit of OTT as well, I believe. Like something like this. Oh, OTT is not working. Well, that's annoying. Let's use OTT here. That ARP is like delayed by a slight amount. I think it's because you have it on a free tempo, but you can't do a triplet, so I guess that's why. What I would do is print this to MIDI and then consolidate it, or quantize it, because that is not right. That is not on beat. Definitely make sure you get that right. But anyway, I'm going to save this one. I guess I have to save this as a copy because it doesn't let me save it as such. Why am I like this? I have no idea. Julian, edit. And then save all the samples to it. And then I think we have time for like one or two more. I don't know why it keeps doing that. That's weird. It's saying I don't have your sample. You should just be able to grab it from your sample or your project file. But yeah, really good track, man. I like this a lot. Julian edit is the one, so there it is. And I'll just put this in finished, and we're gonna work on one more, I think, project 43. Let's see if we can get into this one. Oh, this I think is the 11 one, I want to say. Yeah. Let's see if the Mark one opens then. Mark Eldon. Man, all of you are still on live 10. It says something about a live 11, I think. I will at least take a look at that last one. Let's see. Sorry, I had to answer a text. Cool. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Do not disturb. All right. This is Eldon. We'll take a quick look at this. I've actually heard this one off stream, so I don't know if I'm gonna work on this for too long. Just give him my thoughts, really, and then we'll move on to the next one, because I work with Mark all the time. City of applause. That's funny. Yeah, because I have to run it 140 and it's 127, so. Running into CPU issues here. Can't change it too while we're live. Yeah, my CPU has to go nuts at least one time for this to be an official fix your project. Okay, so quickly, because I don't have much time, the base is not sidechain heavy enough. I'm going to just make that more drastic. In general, everything is much too loud because the kick is much too quiet. So I'm going to turn everything else down and just give the kick some space to breathe. This is just not like hitting. Let's lose the compressor. More of a full transient. Lose the filter too, I reckon. Not in love with this kick sample, honestly. But I'm going to push it right up to the line. We're going to get this to 0. Definitely much better already just by readjusting the bass and the kick side chain, and also just turning the kick up relative to everything else by turning everything else down. So it seems as though you're doing the same thing, Mark, as the other guy. And the reason why you don't do this is because you don't want your build-up to be louder than your drop ever. So you put your gain volume automation before the limiter so that you turn down the input of the limiter. That way, if your build-up is like 10 elements and you're stacking all that volume on top of each other, it's not going to be significantly louder than your drop. And that's a secondary effect of this. Aside from high energy is high volume, it's also like if your limiter is getting, or if your track is getting squashed in your build-up, you want your build-up to be quieter, so you obviously turn it down. So I'm going to remove this, and we're just going to do this in a gain utility here, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm not going to do every one of the changes because you can just copy and paste this yourself, and I don't have too much time. But if you just went down to let's say -3.5 here, pre-limiter. So you see, we're not even really reducing the volume at all. We're not even hitting the threshold. You want the threshold only to be hit when you hit the drop, because your drop wants to be the most compressed element. We're not even going to address the CPU issues. See how much stronger that sounds now? Because we're actually compressing the master, or we're hitting the gain reduction only on the drop. So we're sausaging the drop, and we're not doing that to the buildup, and it creates that effect. Okay, I'm gonna save this. We're gonna give the last 5 minutes to this other track. I'm sorry that I don't have more time, guys, but I have a 2 o'clock appointment. I have to get there. So next month I'll try to allocate 3 hours instead of just 2. These keep getting longer and longer. Usually I try to limit it to the first 5, but we only had 6 today. I'm like, let's try to get through all of them. Sometimes I stick on certain ones, I'll be really inspired by one, so I want to work on it. And then I end up giving somebody 45 minutes of time, and then the others get 15. So I'm gonna try to not do that in the future. Try to keep it balanced. Maybe everyone gets 15 minutes of work. But yeah, it's difficult when I get really inspired by some. All right, that's Mark Eldon's Horizon. I'm gonna save this to the folder, and we have one more, which is Project 43's file here, and this is in Ableton Live 11. Seems like 11 just crashed for me or something. Let's see if we can get it to open again. All right, opening. Tired. Tidra says, yeah, thinking of making the switch soon to 11. Just need to start using it. Problem I have with Ableton Live 11 is that some of this stuff is great, and some of this stuff is just unnecessarily changed. Tidra says, oh, that's not going to happen, Julian. Yeah, I know. Every time it's kind of always linger on something for too long. But yeah, like some of the quality of life improvements in 11 are awesome, and some of the stuff is not. At least for this one, I want to give it a listen, then I'll adjust things as we listen here. Maybe we can take a quick look at this one in the next stream as well, for lack of time. Nice vocal effects, man. That's awesome. Snare is a little dull. Oh, yeah, sorry. My bad. Forgot I switched. Yeah, snares, I still stand by that. The snare's a bit dull. A little bit louder, a little bit more high end. Oh, cool, man. That's nice. Oh, this is not the same snare, is it? Maybe I don't have your plug-in on the big snare. I don't think that's how it's supposed to sound. There's one that was really loud, like unnecessarily loud. Like I'm missing something. Yeah, I'm missing Echo Boy. Ooh. Nice. Yeah, my main critique right now is the drums, I think. The music is nice. This is super cool. Are you gonna go into the progressive trance route? Let's see. I feel like you can use a few more elements here, and some of the leads are a bit loud. Like this guy's a bit on the loud side. If you put a little bit more reverb on this, I think it would work better. But you might have reverb on there, and I just don't have your plugin. Unfortunately, you're using sends, and you can't freeze those. So. Most of my critiques have been like, this snare is a little too dull, needs a little reverb. Your leads need a little bit of reverb. But I feel like that's just because I'm missing your reverb. So on your master, I'm going to put a span so you can take a look at what we're hearing here. Yeah, so this is typical of a lot of people's projects I get. You see how you're lacking frequencies here between like 60 hertz and like a few hundred hertz. I discuss this a lot in my streams and also in like my videos, that you have to think of music in terms of notes rather than frequencies here. And you're actually just lacking a note. You don't have a bass note at whatever octave this is. So if you look in span or any EQ, there's a note reading here, and we're actually, this is your D2 octave. You're playing a note at octave 2. You're playing a note at octave like, I don't know, 4, but you're lacking something in 3. If you find that D2, you should be playing that D3 at the same time, so you fill out this low mid. When I heard the song, I immediately knew you're lacking like low mid. It's all sub and high end, and you have this really interesting curve down here. So you have a lot of high end, and you don't have a lot of low end. Tidris in this chat, he's a really talented artist. He's like Elliptical Sun and Emergent and a lot of cool progressive labels. So he knows what he's talking about as far as this genre goes. And I agree, it's kind of in the quiet realm here for the low end. But fundamentally, if you just look at this, you can see you're missing something here. And it's not a matter of boosting one of your basses with EQ here. It's about using the actual note that's here. So this is actually just a C, or I'm sorry, a D3. So right now you're using like a D2 in this note. I would assume this is probably like a, I don't know, like a D. Maybe it's not a D. I don't know. Whatever note you're playing. Yeah, it's probably because it's a D4 here. Just add whatever note you're playing in your sub an octave up as like a saw wave or something, so you have some harmonics here in the mids. You don't have any harmonics right now. Feels very empty in the bottom. If I just go to your bass really quick. Where is that sitting? Yeah, so this is up at like 3. Maybe that is your 3 octave. You just have it way too quiet. Wherever your sub one though. Yeah, this is more like in the 4 region. I don't know, maybe you're like EQing it or something, removing the low end. Yeah, don't do this. Let the full 3 through. I still feel like you're missing some octave 3 in there, because you have 2 and you have 4, but you don't have 3, and it's what's really like making your bass weak. You got to add this harmonic back. I mean, that move of the EQ helped a little bit because it let some of this through, but definitely needs some more harmonics here. Okay, guys, I'm sorry that I can't listen to this more and help more on this one. If you want, I can check this out in the next stream. But it sounds really good. I think the main critique I have for now is the bass. I feel as though the reverb thing is an issue on my end. I just don't have your plugin. If you send in a bounce next time, we can check that out too. Could be a monitoring problem too. My monitors were overproducing that range, so my low mids were all messed up for a long time. Yeah, I had a similar story. I was basically, me and another producer owned a pair of monitors together. Then I moved out of that producer's place, and then I switched back to my old monitors, and then I was in a different room, and then I went to a studio my friend owned, and I listened to all my music from like years prior when I was using my buddy's monitors, and then I listened to all the music I wrote for the past year. And long story short, I can tell a distinctive problem in every single song I'd written for the last year, in the upper mids or whatever. And it really goes to show that your listening environment and what you're listening on will create a false sense of what's going on in your music. So make sure that you're listening as flat as possible, and also in an environment that is prohibitive of like super loud, exaggerated room modes and stuff. Like, you don't want to be listening and then your sub sounds extremely loud in your room, even if you're not even pushing it loud. One really good way to tell is if you're listening to a professional song and something sounds wrong, like there's like too much bass in it, then you can really tell that you're doing something wrong. But anyway, guys, sorry for this last one. I will make it up to you. I will spend a lot of time on your track next month. And yeah, it's a really good song. I think the main thing that I noticed out of the gate that you can work on and focus on from this session is the bass needs a little bit more boost in that low end. I shouldn't say boost, you just need a note there. You're lacking that note. You might be trimming that note out of something else because you have a weird relationship with like your other 3 octave stuff, but you don't have your root note, and you're going to end up with a really weird lopsided low end if you do that. All right, guys, so that is this month's Patreon Fix Your Project stream. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something from this stream. If you want to submit your project for next month's stream, go over to patreon.com/JulianGray. We do these on the second or third Saturday of every month. Today is the third Saturday. I always forget on the second Saturday, so we do it on the third Saturday to make up for it. But yeah, we always do it on a Saturday, second or third of every month. And, pledges over $10 get access to these streams, and you can watch them for free. But to submit, go over and make a pledge on Patreon. All right, guys, I will talk to you guys in the next stream, or maybe in the next video if I put out one in between then and now. I've been really busy lately. Okay, Cat. Say goodbye. He doesn't want to say goodbye, but I will say goodbye. It's been good seeing you guys again. I hope you guys are doing well, and I will talk to you in the next stream next month.